Hi everyone, my name is Vanessa and I'm a product manager here at Miro. Today, I'm going to show you something real, how I plan and manage my projects and keep my teams aligned. As a product manager, you have your backlogs, your roadmaps, your sprint boards, and any artifact in between. And oftentimes, these become separate sources of truth. And what ends up happening is that most of my week is spent manually trying to keep these things up to date. But now with Miro Tables and views, everything is synced and I only have to update once. Let me show you how this works. So we're gonna start with our product backlog in Miro. And how you get there is you can create a table from scratch. You can also paste a CSV directly onto the canvas, or you can also import your existing backlogs using third-party tools like Jira. Now, once you have your data in this Miro table, you can customize how it looks. So I can do that through some hierarchy, from some subrecords. I can do inline text editing, so that bold, italicize those lists. I have some fields, multi-person, and also some visual numbers. So if I want to do a bit of conditional formatting or percentages, I can do that here. We have links, and you can also add or edit any field you like in this menu. Now, once this is set, what I can actually do is in a few clicks, create a different view of the same data for different stakeholders. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to copy this table. I'm going to paste it directly onto the canvas, and I'm going to select synced view. And what happens is that it creates a synced view of that original table that I made. And this data is connected, so any changes I make in this table will reflect that original table. So if I want to add a little bit more detail, I'm gonna do this. And I'm going to make this all bold. I can also change the signee, for example, to Aaron. And you'll see that this will automatically reflect in that same first table. Boom. Now, even though this data is connected, I can actually customize this in a view that's best for my stakeholders. So let's transform this backlog into a roadmap in just a few clicks. I'm going to first change this to a timeline layout. I will group it by the team. I will filter it by the quarter. And I can also hide some fields to make it a little bit cleaner. We can also hide some groups. And in the timeline view, what I can do is also add some dependencies. So add more dependencies. And do some nesting. And this data will also sync back to that original table. And I can call this my Q3 roadmap. And I can follow the same process and make a sprint board for my engineering team. So I can copy and paste again. And we follow the same steps. And I can change this to a Kanban, remove the grouping, and then we have a sprint board. Now, the value of this is that I have one connected source of truth. It's a living source of truth. No more copy and pasting, no more manual updating, no more figuring out like what's the latest, where can I go? Everything's up to date. Planning is just one part of the workflow. What teams really need is a place to discuss in detail. They need a place to collaborate and to work through decisions. And this is where the canvas comes in. So from any view, whether that was the table, the timeline, or the Kanban, we can drag those records directly onto the canvas. So I did a bulk select in my table, and I can drag this directly onto the canvas. And what we're creating here are synced cards. Like the name suggests, any changes I make on the card reflect in that table, timeline, or Kanban, and vice versa. So one really big time save that me and my team do during refinements is we use the people widget and the story point widget. So we have a lot of these conversations, they're running really quick, we need to assign things, we need to estimate things. So what we do is we have a bunch of these cards on the canvas. We also even have Jira cards that sync to Jira, and we can quickly assign things. So I'm gonna search myself, and boom, I'm gonna assign myself. I will also assign Sam here, and then you can see that automatically updated. And this also works with Jira records. So I can put my name, and boom, I can also do that in Jira. Now, speaking of Jira, planning is only useful when execution is connected to it. And with our Jira integration with bi-directional sync in our tables and views, we can do a lot of this work directly on the canvas without actually leaving Miro or going to Jira. So what you can do is you can first import your Jira tickets. We have a JQL storage, you can find what you need, and you can also drag and drop Jira cards from the canvas to the table. So I'm gonna go here, and for example, I'm gonna sync. And what happens is that it imported those Jira tickets right into my backlog. And there's a bi-directional sync. So if I make any changes here, so we'll just keep this as media field. We'll change this to Hui, for example. These automatically update in that card you just saw. And it also updates in Jira. So no more leaving to make any updates. And what a new feature we have that is super helpful is you can actually create new issues in Miro without going to Jira. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna click this menu, I'm gonna convert to, and I can convert this row into a Jira record. So I can choose the project, the epic, the type, and any changes I like, and create. And what's great about this is that it also contains and keeps the old Miro fields that I have here. And the big value add here is that no matter you are a product manager, a designer, an engineer, you can work in the tools you need without staying out of sync. So my product teams and my design teams, they're collaborating in Miro. My engineering teams can join as well, but they can also make their changes in Jira. So we make sure that everything is one system. Now, the work is moving forward. The last thing we want to do is go to the board and find everywhere we need to pay attention to. That's where Miro notifications come in. Now you can get notified if you're assigned a task. So you can go here, notify, or if a deadline is approaching in your end date. Or you can also follow records with the activity that matter to you the most. So I can go to this record, I can follow the item, and I can also make others follow this as well. And the same story with comments. I can add comments saying, hey, Alex, take a look at this. Please leave feedback. And we can start those async feedback loops. Okay, we've seen a lot today. So whether you're maintaining your backlog, whether you're creating a new roadmap, or making sure that your sprint board is up to date with Jira, these are the workflows I rely on all in Miro every single day. Everything stays connected, everyone sees what matters to them, and teams, they spend less time managing tools and more time doing the work that moves us forward. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope I've inspired you to build your own workflows with Miro tables and views.